Hello beautiful soul, this is your Julia, and this video is for those of you who are currently in a career that you are ready to leave. You are ready for something else, something bigger, better, but you're still stuck in a job that you have to stay in while you need to pay the bills, yet every day you're dreaming about a completely different reality. I want to share with you my personal experience, how I manifested the transition from my previous career in a very busy corporate job to being a QHHT and soul realignment practitioner. Some of you may be familiar with the law of attraction, and this video is not really about that in terms of me telling you how important it is to visualize yourself already in that new reality and emotionally connect to it and believe it that it's possible and start looking for different opportunities. All that is very important. But what I don't see people really talk about is that if your current reality is not changing to the reality that you really want and desire and know you can have, it's likely that there are still experiences and lessons that you're still supposed to go through. For example, my previous two jobs, what I did from the point when I knew there is something else better waiting for me out there, I started to pay really close attention to my relationships with people in that old job. And I challenged myself to love everyone as they are. I challenged myself to accept everyone as they are, because at that time, 7-8 years ago, I was often triggered by people as we are, and I would be judgmental and I would be upset. And I knew all these experiences are there to help me to grow to be a better person and help me to realize some unconscious limiting beliefs that I had inside of me, whether about myself or about others or about the world. So I would like to invite you to consider that perhaps your colleagues in a job that you might even hate are there as your teachers. Start seeing them as your teachers. And the questions that helped me, that I was asking myself, is not necessarily why is this situation happening to me? That's a victim energy. But what unconscious belief do I have about myself that manifested this situation for me? I give you a very simple example to help you really grasp how this works. I had a colleague of mine that no matter how hard I tried to do a perfect job, she was the only one that always managed to find a mistake. Every time I was collaborating with her, I would always do something wrong and she would point it out and I would feel like a fool and really upset. I was always very hard on myself when the work wasn't done up to my standards. And I really felt this energy building up inside me until I realized, hang on a minute. I asked this question, what belief do I have about myself that she's showing me? So as I reflected on this and dig deep, I realized that there was a part of me that believed that I'm not good enough, that my work is not good enough, but more importantly, that I was putting too much value on external validation about my self-worth. In other words, I was looking for approval from others about my own quality, about my own self-worth. So at that point, I decided that I don't need anyone outside of me to tell me that I am doing a good job and that I am a good worker. So I released that old belief of looking for approval outside of me. At that point, I was really grateful to my colleague for teaching me this important lesson. This was all an internal dialogue, of course. And I sent her love, light, and appreciate her for that experience. The energy between us cleared, and from then on, there was not a single one experience where she would find my mistake. She became much softer with me, and everything just shifted. So situations like that kept dissolving. Another one would be the top management that I was working with. Some of these top management colleagues of mine really could use some anger management classes. They really had tendencies to explode when things didn't go the way they were meant to in the company. So on many occasions in the past, I would be very upset and I would feel the intensity of their energy and sometimes would take the blame or I would just be there and they would fire, and it would shake me up. So instead of being a victim and complaining and being upset over that situation, I would choose to challenge myself to next time keep my energy field intact and just be grounded, strong as a tree, and I didn't let their anger affect my well-being. And I remained focused and connected to higher intuition. I came up with solution and was able to deal with whatever situation. If there were upset clients, I used to be freaked out and stressed because of it, until I decided to keep getting stronger and stronger emotionally and mentally and physically also in these situations, until I became really good at it. And every time there was a complaint, I was called to deal with it, and I challenged myself to tune in energetically with that client, and they always calm down. So perhaps while you are still in a job that you might hate, I invite you to change your perspective. Don't hate your job. Learn to appreciate everything there as your learning experience, everyone as your teacher, and challenge yourself to become the best version of yourself while you're there. And start making peace with each individual, knowing that the day of you leaving is near, and it's important that you leave on good terms internally, that even though somebody may be upset with you, it's okay, it's their problem, but you need to have clear slate inside you, because you don't want to leave and still be thinking about that abusive boss or whoever. You can choose to keep all your power intact. So I remember while I was still in those jobs that I enjoyed, but I knew my soul's calling is elsewhere. Instead of hating me being there, I really embraced every moment. And I remember as I walked into work, literally thinking about my resignation, being ready to be pulled off whenever needed. But I stopped and smelled the roses. I loved the venue. I really looked and connected with things that were increasing my vibration. I was emanating love to the environment. I was clearing energetically the offices and the space, and I was sending well wishes to the people. I was sending them blessings. I really did my best to love the place rather than hate it. Once all that was completed and there was really nothing else for me to learn, once I was really good in all these challenging situations, I was out. So maybe it's about you completing the lessons. I always have this analogy of a video game, that you still need to collect certain points, you still need to collect certain gemstones at the level where you're at now before you can unlock the next level. So I hope this will give you more empowering perspective. Let me know if you resonated with this message. And if you have any challenge in your current work situation, share it, and I'll see if I can help you overcome it. Sending much love to you from Ireland.